Last week, we looked at the first scene of King Lear. What we saw was a world torn apart, relationships broken, a world driven by the desire for control and by pride. Not in all cases, for Kent and Cordelia stand out for their refusal to accept these values. Yet it is these two people that Lear rejects and exiles. Lear cannot see what they see. This week, I want to discuss two additional excerpts from Act 1. We'll then move on to Act 2. A scene we did not view at the beginning of the play introduced Gloucester, who was one of Lear's senior counselors, and his bastard younger son, Edmund. Now we hear two soliloquies from Edmund, in which Edmund will set in motion his plan to usurp his brother Edgar's right to inherit from Gloucester. The first soliloquy begins this way. Thou, nature, art my goddess. To thy law my services are bound. Well, this is not kind and gentle nature. It is the nature of might makes right, the law of animals and animal appetites. Wherefore should I stand in the plague of custom, and permit the curiosity of nations to deprive me? For that I am some 12 or 14 moonshines lag of a brother? Why, bastard, wherefore base? Well, Edmund is right to be angered by his rejection by society because of the plague of custom. The law denied a bastard any automatic share in inheritance. And the curiosity of nations, the fastidious tradition that held a bastard to be inferior. When my dimensions are as well compact, my mind as generous, and my shape as true as honest madam's issue, why brand they us with baseness, bastardy, base? Who in the lusty stealth of nature take more composition and fierce quality than doth within a dull, stale, tired bed, go to the creating of a whole tribe of fops, got 'tween a sleep and wake. He says there is nothing in nature to differentiate the abilities of a bastard from a legitimate child. Bastards or struggle may be superior because of that experience to those who are spoiled by a privileged upbringing. His conclusion? Well then, legitimate Edgar, I must have your land. He will steal Edgar's inheritance, even though Edgar has done him no injury. Edmund is right to be angry at rejection because of his birth, but he is wrong to allow this rejection to drive him to baseness in a moral sense. A broken world has broken him. Gloucester enters, and Edmund lays the trap into which his gullible father will fall. He produces a forged letter, supposedly from Edgar, which Edmund uses to show that Edgar plans to kill Gloucester to take his title and lands. Edmund, throughout the gulling of Gloucester, ironically speaks the truth, feigning excuses for Edgar. Edmund does so to convince his father he has no ulterior motive. Not that Edmund intended to tell the truth, or that Gloucester hears it as he should. For example, I hope his, Edgar's, heart is not in the contents of the forged letter. Well, of course it isn't. He never wrote it. If you, Gloucester, violently proceed against him, Edgar, mistaking his purpose, it would leave a great gap in your honor. And it does exactly that. He cannot be such a monster, Gloucester says of Edgar. Nor is not, sure, affirms Edmund. Quite truthfully, although he does so only to further his own credibility in his plan to discredit Edgar. Shocked by Edgar's supposed betrayal, Gloucester sums up the divisions the play has seen already and utters a telling commentary. We have seen the best of our time. That is, the best is in the past and is gone in the present times. But it tells us more of Gloucester than it does of the times. For Gloucester is willing to believe too easily in the treachery of a true son and the inevitability of a broken world. Gloucester is wrong. The best of his time can be seen in the true service of Kent, the true love and forgiveness of Cordelia, and the loyalty of his own son, Edgar. Let's now view Edmund's second soliloquy after Gloucester leaves the stage.
This is the excellent foppery of the world, that when we're sick in fortune, often the surfeits of our own behavior, we make guilty of our disasters the sun, the moon, and stars. As if we were villains on necessity, fools by heavenly compulsion, knaves, thieves, and treacherers by spherical predominance, drunkards, liars, and adulterers by an enforced obedience of planetary influence, and all that we are evil in by a divine thrusting on. An admirable evasion of home master man to lay his goatish disposition on the charge of a star. My father compounded with my mother under the dragon's tail, and my nativity was under Ursa Major, so that it follows that I am rough and lecherous. I would have been that I am had the maidenliest star in the firmament twinkled on my bastardizing.
If you're watching with others, pause the video here and discuss this question. When you're done, start the video again. His argument is that we choose our actions. He's arguing free will, but in context, he's taking it to justify self-willed actions. It becomes a form of situation ethics. Let's consider briefly scene 4. I want to touch on two aspects of this scene. The first is the service of Kent. He has disguised himself and comes to enter Lear's service. Disguise in the theater in Shakespeare's time didn't require much in the way of change of appearance. Lear is staying at the home of Goneril in Albany, intending to move between the homes of Goneril and Regan. In the brief soliloquy that opens the scene, Kent says, "Now, banished Kent, if thou canst serve where thou dost stand condemned, so it may come thy master, whom thou lovest, shall find thee full of labors." Kent comes to serve Lear out of love. He clearly expects nothing as reward, since he stands condemned if he is discovered. Lear enters, and a dialogue follows between Lear and the disguised Kent, in which Kent defines what true service is. To serve him truly, that will put me in trust. To love him that is honest. To converse with him that is wise and says little. To fear judgment. To fight when I cannot choose. Now, be careful of the phrase, fear judgment. This is not to be afraid of judgment, but to regard judgment with reverence and awe, to revere it. It's a form of to fear, have reverence for, God. All judgment comes from God. Kent includes reverence for God as an intrinsic part of service. When Kent helps Lear deal with insolent Oswald, Lear tells Kent, "Thou servest me, and I'll love thee," and then gives him money. To Lear, service is not merited, but bought. Love is earned and given in a kind of barter. The second aspect that I want to note is the focus on the fool. Lear calls for his fool, or jester, 4 times in this scene. Where's my fool? There are 3 passages I want to look at that involve the fool. The first is this: Fool, that lord that counseled thee to give away thy land, come place him here by me. Do thou for him stand. The sweet and bitter fool will presently appear. Lear, Dost thou call me fool, boy? Fool, all other titles thou hast given away. That thou wast born with. Lear is called for his fool, and his fool has told him there was no necessity. His fool was already there in his own person. Clearly, Lear has acted foolishly. But fool also is the term applied in this play to all those who act simply and sincerely, or who learn to do so. Lear, Gloucester, Edgar, Cordelia, Kent, Albany are all called fools in the course of the play. The fool recognizes, as does Kent, that there is goodness in Lear, not just pride and folly. The fool, who may speak the truth freely since he is not taken seriously, also recognizes where Lear must go to free himself from his own will. The fool tells Lear, I am better than thou art now. I am a fool. Thou art nothing. Lear is nothing, both in the political sense. He has given up the throne and hence is a cipher in a world where power is everything. And in the moral sense, he has done evil, as Kent told him in Scene 1. Lear will need to be reduced to nothing to be reborn. The fool has one more line that we should note. Lear is upbraided by Goneril for the conduct of Lear's retinue of knights. Lear is astonished that she should forget who he is and asks, Who is it that can tell me who I am? The fool's unexpected answer is, Lear's shadow. To the fool, Lear is but a shadow of the king. He has the title, but no power. But Lear is also a shadow in that he has not yet shown his full humanity. He knows only one aspect of his humanity, the part that serves his baser nature, not that which would draw him toward the divine. And it is impossible to leave this scene without looking at the horrifying curse that Lear puts on Goneril for mistreating him. Here, nature, here, dear goddess, here. Suspend thy purpose if thou didst intend to make this creature fruitful. Into her womb convey sterility. Dry up in her the organs of increase, and from her delicate body never spring a babe to honor her. If she must teem, create her a child of spleen, that it may live and be a thwart, disnatured torment to her. Let it stamp wrinkles in her brow of youth, with cadent tears fret channels in her cheeks, turn all her mother's pains and benefits to laughter and contempt, that she may feel how sharper than a serpent's tooth it is to have a thankless child. Pause the video here and discuss this question. When you're done, start the video again. Lear calls in the same nature that Edmund does. There's no wisdom in what he does, but there is authority. Goneril has thwarted his will, and that will not be tolerated. But there is nothing that he can actually do about it except curse, being only Lear's shadow. Here he begins the process that will strip him to nothing. It is appropriate that he asks nature to be unnatural, to distort its creative force, for he has helped to create a world of distorted relationships, broken molds. In essence, he calls on God to not be God. Let's turn now to Act 2, the end of Scene 2. Let me set the scene. Pay attention. Lear has left Goneril's home and gone to Regan's. But Regan has gone to the castle of Gloucester, specifically so that Lear cannot find her at home. Kent, sent ahead of Lear to Gloucester, has been put in the stocks for insolence to Goneril's servant, Oswald, and to Cornwall. Lear arrives at Gloucester's castle and is angered to find Kent stocked. Regan enters with her husband, Cornwall. Let's now view this clip.
Good morrow to you both.
Hail to your grace.
I am glad to see your highness.
Regan, I think you are. I know what reason I have to think so. If thou shouldst not be glad, I'd divorce me from thy mother's tomb, sepulchring an adulteress. Beloved Regan, thy sister's naught. Oh, Regan, she hath tied sharp-toothed unkindness like a vulture here. I can scarce speak to thee. Thou'dst not believe with how depraved a quality. Ah, Regan.
I pray you, sir, take patience. I have hope you less know how to value her desert than she to scant her duty.
Say, as that?
I cannot think my sister in the least would fail her obligation. If, sir, perchance she have restrained the riots of your followers, 'tis on such ground and to such wholesome end as clears her from all blame.
My curse is on her.
Oh, sir, you are old. Nature in you stands on the very verge of its confine. You should be ruled and led by some discretion that discerns your state better than you yourself. Therefore I pray you that to our sister you do make return. Say you have wronged her.
Ask her forgiveness. Do you but mark how this becomes the house? Dear daughter, I confess that I am old. Age is unnecessary. On my knees, I beg that you will vouchsafe me raiment, bed, and food.
Good sir, no more. These are unsightly tricks. Return you to my sister.
Ever, Regan. She hath abated me of half my train, struck me with her tongue, most serpent-like upon the very heart. All the stored vengeances of heaven fall on her ingrateful top, strike her young bones, infectious airs with lameness.
Fight!
You
Fight!
nimble lightnings dart your blinding flames into her scornful eyes. Infect her beauty, you fen-sucked fogs, drawn by the powerful sun of fall and blister.
Oh, bless God. So you will wish on me when the rash mood is on.
No, Regan, thou shalt never have my curse. Thy tender-hefted nature shall not give thee o'er to harshness. 'Tis not in thee to grudge my pleasures, to cut off my train, to bandy hasty words, to scant my sizes, and in conclusion to oppose the bolt against my coming in. Thou better knowest the offices of nature, bond of childhood, effects of courtesy, dues of gratitude. Thy half the kingdom hast thou not forgot, wherein I thee endow.
Good sir, to the purpose.
Who put my man in the stocks?
What trumpet's that?
I know it. My sister disapproves her letter that she would soon be here. Is your lady come?
Aye, madam, this is a slave whose easy borrowed pride dwells in the fickle grace of her he follows out.
What means your grace?
Who stalked my servant? Regan, I have good hope thou didst not know on. Who comes here? Oh, heavens! If you do love old men, if your sweet sway allow obedience, if you yourselves are old, make it your cause. Send down and take my part. Art not ashamed to look upon this beard? Oh, Regan, would you take her by the hand?
Why not by the hand, sir? How have I offended? All's not offence that indiscretion finds, and dotage terms so.
Oh, besides, you are too tough. But did you get hold? Keep my man in the stock.
I set him there, sir, but his own disorders deserved much less advancement.
Shoo! Did you?
I pray you, father, being weak, sleep so. If till the expiration of your month you do return and sojourn with my sister, dismissing half your train, come then to me. I am now from home, and out of that provision which shall be needful for your entertainment.
Return to her, and 50 men dismissed? No. Rather I abjure all roofs, and choose to wage against the enmity of the air, to be a comrade with the wolf, and howl necessity's sharp pinch returned to her. Aye, the hot-blooded trance, the dowerless took our youngest born. I could as well be brought to knee his throne and squire-like pension beg to keep base life afoot return with her. Persuade me rather to be slave and sumpter to this detested groom.
At your choice, sir.
I prithee, daughter, do not make me mad. I'll not trouble thee, my child. Farewell. We'll no more meet, no more see one another. But yet thou art my flesh, my blood, my daughter, or rather a disease that's in my flesh, which I must needs call mine. Thou art a boil, a plague sore, or embossed carbuncle in my corrupted blood, but I'll not chide thee. Men, when thou canst, be better at thy leisure. I can be patient. I can stay with Regan. I and my 100 knights.
But altogether so. I look not for you yet, nor am provided for your fit welcome. Good sir, give ear to my sister. For those that mingle reason with your passion must be content to think you old, and so. But she knows what she does.
Is this well spoken?
What, 50 followers, is it not well? What should you need of more? Yea, or so many, since that both charge and danger speak 'gainst so great a number. How in one house should many people under 2 commands hold amity? 'Tis hard, almost impossible.
Why might not you, my lord, receive attendance from those that she calls servants or from mine?
Why not, my lord? If then they chanced to slack you, we could control them. If you will come to me, for now I spy a danger, I will entreat you to bring but 5 and 20. To no more will I give place or notice.
I gave you all.
And in good time you gave it.
Made you my guardians, my depositaries, but kept a reservation to be followed with such a number. What? Must I come to you with 5 and 20? Regan, said you so?
And speak it again, my lord, no more with me.
Oh, those wicked creatures yet do look well favored when others are more wicked. Not being the worst stands in some rank of praise. I'll go with thee. Thy 50 getteth double 5 and 20, and thou art twice her love.
Hear me, my lord. What need you 5 and 20, 10 or 5, to follow in a house where twice so many have a command to tend you?
What need one?
Oh, reason not the need. Our basest beggars are in the poorest thing, superfluous. Allow not nature more than nature needs. Man's life is cheap as beasts. Thou art a lady, if only to go warm or gorgeous. Why, nature needs not what thou gorgeous wearest, which scarcely keeps thee warm, but fortuny. You haven't. Give me that patience I need. You see me here, you gods, a poor old man, as full of grief as age, wretched in both. If it be you that stirs these daughters' hearts against their father, fool me not so much to bear it tamely. Touch me with noble anger, and let not women's weapons, water drops, stain my man's cheeks. No! You unnatural hag! I will have such revenges on you both that all the world shall. I will do such things. What they are, yet I know not. But they shall be the terrors of the earth. You think I'll weep? No, I'll not weep. I have full cause of weeping, but this heart shall break into 100,000 flaws, or ere I'll weep. Oh, fool, I shall go mad.
The king is in high rage. Whither is he going? He calls to horse, but will I know not whither. 'Tis best to give him way. He leads himself.
My lord, entreat him by no means to stay.
Alack, the night comes on, and the high winds do sorely ruffle. For many miles about there's scarce a bush.
Oh, sir, to wilful men the injuries that they themselves procure must be their schoolmasters. Shut up your doors. He is attended with a desperate train, and what they may incense him to, being apt to have his ear abused. Wisdom bids fear.
Shut up your doors, my lord. It was a wild night. My Regan counsels well. Come out of the store.
Pause the video here and discuss these questions. When you're done, start the video again. Lear is totally driven by his pride. He wants to impose his will on both Regan and Goneril. Urged by Regan to return to Goneril, he explodes in willful anger. No, I will not. I'd rather live in the wild. I'd rather beg for life's basic needs from Cordelia's husband, the King of France, who owes me less than you do. I'd rather be your servant's servant. And finally, realizing he cannot impose his will, he takes a different tack. Oh, reason not the need. Our basest beggars are in the poorest things superfluous. Allow not nature more than nature needs. Man's life is as cheap as beasts. Thou art a lady. If only to go warm or gorgeous, why, nature needs not what thou gorgeous wearest, which scarcely keeps thee warm. But for true need, you heavens, give me that patience I need. You see me here, you gods, a poor old man, as full of grief as age, wretched in both. If it be you that stirs these daughters' hearts against their father, fool me not so much to bear it tamely. Touch me with noble anger, and not let women's weapons, watered drops, stain my man's cheeks. No, you unnatural hags, I will have such revenges on you both that all the world shall. I will do such things. What they are yet I know not, but they shall be the terrors of the earth. You think I'll weep. No, I'll not weep. I have full cause of weeping, but this heart shall break into 100,000 flaws, or ere I'll weep. O fool, I shall go mad. Pause the video here and discuss this question. When you're done, start the video again. We may say that Lear has begun to learn humility, but that would not be true. This is self-pity, not pity. Let's turn to our scripture passage for the day. It's found in Isaiah chapter 47, verses 8 to 11. Isaiah is speaking to the Babylonians, telling them what will befall them. Now then, listen, you wanton creature, lounging in your security and saying to yourself, I am, and there's none besides me. I will never be a widow or suffer the loss of children. Both of these will overtake you in a moment, on a single day, loss of children and widowhood. They will come upon you in full measure, in spite of your many sorceries and all your potent spells. You have trusted in your wickedness and have said, no one sees me. Your wisdom and knowledge mislead you when you say to yourself, I am, and there is none besides me. Disaster will come upon you, and you will not know how to conjure it away. A calamity will fall upon you that you cannot ward off with ransom. A catastrophe you cannot foresee will suddenly come upon you. Pause the video here and discuss these questions. When you're done, start the video again. Regan tells Gloucester, "Oh, sir, to wilful men the injuries that they themselves procure must be their schoolmasters." Are pride and willfulness linked? How accurate is Regan's comment? Pause the video here and discuss this question. When you're done, start the video again. We see a world in need of healing, and we see individuals who have no way to turn themselves from this self-destructive path. How do we break the cycle? We'll come back to that question. Next week, we will look at Act 3, the famous storm scene, and the dark night of the soul that comes with it.